So welcome to our financial wellness webinar. I am Harlon James Canillas, a licensed financial advisor and also a BPO operations manager for the past 6 years. And I'm hoping for the next 60 minutes, you will be able to increase your understanding on how to manage your finances and that you'll be able to formulate a solution to your financial goal and dreams. Who are we? Right? We are PruLife UK. So our mother company, Prudential PLC, is actually our global name and is based in the United Kingdom. So it started in 1996 in the Philippines, right? A very young company in the Philippines. But it does not, if you think about it, PruLife UK has been existing since the Titanic times. So we have paid 324 passengers during the Titanic event. Along with our mission to protect the lives of many, we had also hoped to increase financial literacy among Filipinos through the regular activities that we're doing today. We have invited you today because we in PruLife UK are concerned with the fact that 60% of the Filipinos do not save any money from their salary. And based on statistics and according to our Business World Online, the Philippine financial literacy score has declined over the years. And there is no difference between the working class and the non-working class Filipinos. So as a financial advisor, that is a cause of concern. And this is the main reason why we're doing this and spreading the financial literacy all over the country. Right. So what makes a financially healthy individual? So number one, that individual is meeting the financial obligations on time, right? So we're able to pay off our loans, we pay off the bills every month. And loans and debts are actually okay, right? When I say okay, if the if the uh, if the debt increases your net worth, that is totally fine. It becomes a liability, it becomes a problem if the debt drops your net worth. Right? I hope you get that. And number two, a financially healthy individual has funds to address emergencies. So these are the things that we don't have control over. Sino mo gusto magkasakit, di ba? Especially now that we're in a pandemic. No matter how careful we are, sometimes we really do get sick, right? And emergencies such as accident, kaya nga tinatawag ng accident because we don't have control over it. Right? So, and the third one is you have to have funds to realize your future dreams. So you need to have that specific fund for you at least for your dreams and your wants in the future. Maybe it for self-fulfillment to make your dreams come true, or funds are usually what you will need to make it into reality. So hearing those, let me start a call. So the question is, do you think you are financially well? Hearing those items. All right. So 82% says no, you're not financially well. That's fine, right? We can define financially well on the later slide. And of course, I think that's the reason why you're here today in order for us to help you out. Right? Don't worry about that. All right. Thank you for answering the poll. Right, to continue. So how do you really reach that dream and how do you make sure to identify, apologies, right? So how do you realize your dreams, right? So in order for us to realize your dreams, we have 5 steps, 5 easy steps that we can walk you through in this webinar on how to really realize your dreams. And step 1, know what you want. Step 2, understand why you want it. Step 3, know when you want it. Step 4, how much will it cost? And step five, you have to plan it out. And in the Philippines, we have this, all of us have this dreams of having a house, getting a good education, having that first car. So, but it's always best to have a specific goal. If your goal is to have a home, you can't just say, I want to have a house. Right? That's very big. Para maging real yan, you have to be very specific. Imagine it inside your head, just like what Chaching mentioned earlier on the video. You have to be very specific. What do you imagine your dream house to be? Does it look like a bungalow, three bedroom house? Is it located in a specific subdivision that you want? How big should it be? Or education for your kids. Where do you want your kids to go to school? Private school ba? Big school ba? Is it a college? Is it a university? You have to identify those as early as now. If you want to have the dream car, ano ba gusto mo? Van, sedan, or a car for business? Right. So we have to make sure that we have to be very specific and at least write it down somewhere in order for you to have that goal in mind. Second is understand why you want it. So why do you want it back? What do you get? What do you get out of those dreams? Is it just a feeling of self-accomplishment that you wish to achieve? Is it to satisfy your passion? Is it for happiness? Is it for convenience? So maybe the reason why you want a home is to have freedom. Maybe the reason why you want to have a car is for convenience. You won't have to travel. You want to travel in a private car every day to work. Or maybe it's the convenience of having your own car. So one of the things that sometimes would derail us from our goal is that we sometimes get affected by our emotions. So when we create a goal and the why, we have to be very objective and we have to be very specific. So we don't need to be sentimental about it because sometimes we make the wrong decisions or sometimes we cannot establish the real why behind it. So it's easier to do something if you know the why behind it. All right. So a dream or goal must have a target date. Right. So tayo mga Pilipino kasi, even me, I'm guilty. Tagal pa naman yan eh. I'm still young. I'm just 22 years old. Pwede pa yan next year. Pwede yan 3 years from now. Then eventually, you're when you decide to save, your priority has already changed, right? So it's not a reason that you're young. It's not a reason that you can do it in the next few years. Because remember, there are things that are outside of our control. We have accidents, we have sickness, right? So you have to keep that in mind. And the important thing there really is also make sure that you have a target date. So many Filipinos keep chasing their dreams, which keeps running away because of procrastination. So we have to set a deadline for each dream. So di naman masyadong specific, no? Parang complete date. Pwede rin namang year. Right? In the year 2024, dapat may bahay na ako sa ganitong subdivision, ganito kalaki, and with this number of rooms. Right? So can you imagine it now? Can you picture out your dream? Right? So setting up a deadline actually keeps you on your toes. It's a mental reminder that you have to get to this level. You have to cross this finish line at this time. All right. Next is how much does it really? How much will it cost you? So when you say cost, we imagine it to be cost of money, right? But it doesn't have to be money or purely monetary because sometimes it can be time away from your family, um, sacrifices that you need to make in order for you to reach your dream. So you have to identify the cost of that dream. What can you afford to lose in order for you to reach that dream? Or better yet, what what can you afford to invest in order for you to reach the goal? So don't get intimidated with the cost, right? Because if you really want it, you will always find a way. And lastly, you strategize the how. Sabi nga nila, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So when you have this idea, have you ever experienced that thing na okay, naisip ko na yan na. Nauna kong naisip yan, idea ko yan, pero iba yung nag-implement. Tapos nasasayangan ka, right? So this is how it is. So when you have an idea, you start planning on how to get to that idea. Your idea might be your dreams, right? It can be your dreams. So the first 4 steps should help you now to decide on how to get to your dream. Understanding the basics and important concepts, knowing where you are, and looking at what your options should be to help you to decide next steps is to plan. You need to consider a lot of factors that can affect and distract your plans. So planning is being ready. So what so when you plan, you have to be very proactive, right? So for the people in the corporate industry or been working, you always hear this word, be proactive, right? So you have to plan out what could possibly derail your plans. Your plan should have a plan A. The next plan should be your plan B. You have plan C and plan D to protect those, right? Because regardless of the hard work that you've done, without careful planning, you might just lose the battle at the end or you get demotivated. And of course, after planning, you have to take action. Take action immediately. Right? Remember, you have a deadline to keep that in mind. Right. So the idea really is it all starts with discipline and saving. It all starts with the focus and the discipline and setting aside money. So the common way of saving here in the Philippines is, I get my salary on the 15th day or every other week or whatever payment scheme that you have in your company. You get your salary, then you go to the grocery, you pay your bills, you pay everything else, you do your shopping, you go online, you click Shopee, you add to cart here, add to cart there, add to cart everywhere, right? 5 gadgets, add to cart. So wala na natira sa sweldo, right? So what if natira sa sweldo is 10 pesos? So your savings is now just 10 pesos. That's how we are currently saving right now, right? Kakainis tong add to cart, no? Tapos mag-double digit yung same ng month at day, patay na. 11-11, 12-12, right? So those are really distractions that challenges your discipline in saving, right? So it should be the reverse. You should be able to save first before even planning to add to cart, right? The mga guilty dyan. So, I'm sure iba nakangiti. Right? So, again, let me reiterate. Your first expense from your salary should be savings, right? And you have to decide on that. Remember, you have planning. Remember, you have cost to consider. You have to remember how much can you afford to invest, how much can you afford to save, right? Not everyone has the same expenses daily, so you have to consider that. And this is where your financial advisor comes in. So whoever invited you today after this session, please approach them and talk to them too. Right. And the next one is there is a continuous struggle between needs and wants, right? Basic human needs. What is basic human needs ba? All you need to do is a roof on your head, a little bit of clothing, just enough. Again, a little bit of clothing, just enough. Wag yung 20 na sapatos. There's nothing wrong with it, right? If you can afford it. But what if you don't, right? Food and water, those are basic necessities.